Hey, it's Bobby Bones with some exciting news. Open booking is here for the Top Shelf Country Cruise, setting sail February 2026 aboard the luxurious Celebrity Reflection. Spots are filling up fast, so book your stateroom today or sign up to become a lineup insider to receive the final lineup 48 hours prior to the public. Don't miss your chance to make February 2026 unforgettable. Visit TopShelfCountryCruise.com. That's TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
What goals did you set for 2025? If better sleep is one, Symbiotica's magnesium L-threonate helps you wake up refreshed. For gut health, their glutathione supports digestion and reduces bloating. Symbiotica is one of the most transparent brands out there, never compromising on quality or sourcing. Their products are free from seed oils, preservatives, toxins, and artificial additives, something you can taste and feel in every packet. Go to Symbiotica.com and use code iHeart for 20% off and free shipping. That's Symbiotica.com, code iHeart.
So it's like a horror movie, then?
No, it's more of a meditation on the futility of connection.
Sounds horrible.
See, that's why I don't watch Kaufman movies. I already know about the futility of connection.
Okay, well, I think it was beautiful.
Hey, guys, you might not want to go in there.
All right, Monday.
Yeah,
damn it.
it's less about connection and more about being connected with.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Eli, why can't we go into the studio this time?
Why can't you go into the studio? Well,
Hawaiian cow.
Hawaiian what now?
Okay, well, it's about relationships and what they mean to different people. Is the theme.
Hawaiian cows. They're a big part of this week's essay, and Eli doesn't want us to go into the studio because he cloned one or he's got a guy or whatever or something like that, right? Am I right, Eli?
Seriously?
no, actually, no.
Oh, then why can't we go into the studio? What's the problem?
Tom's trying to open a jar in there.
Cool. I'm going to go get a coffee.
Yeah, I'll come with you.
It's really about being othered with the people you love more than anything.
Heath, I'm not going to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, no. Just let it go,
I
man.
didn't really like it either.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because it's the internet, that's how it works now. I'm Cecil, and I'll be rounding up this herd, but I can't do it without my cowpokes. Introducing first two rodeo clowns that are already barrel-shaped, Eli and Tom.
Okay, you laugh, Cecil, but when I fell over that waterfall, I was just fine, thank you.
And hey, man, maybe those barrels are really Tom-shaped, Cecil.
Okay, all right.
What do you know?
It's very true. Also joining us tonight, two guys that have complicated feelings about Cowboys, Buffalo, Chiefs, and Redskins, depending on who's on their fantasy team, Heath and Noah.
Okay, ESPN needs to just call them the Washington genocide victims until they change the name. Like, that needs to be on every
I'll light a fire
broadcast.
under their asses. Yeah. This year I opted out of fantasy football altogether in favor of fantasy going to a place.
You know, folks, as much as we bash culture on this show, there is one cultural phenomenon we really do admire. Paying people for working. Thanks, patrons. If you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, be sure to stick around till the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Eli, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
We'll be talking about the Hawaiian Rodeo Cowboys, Cecil.
Fuck, we will.
And Tom, given the extensive lengths you've gone through in your life to avoid rodeo-related things, why start embracing it now?
Oh, Cecil, because while I don't like cowboys, I do like humiliating cowboys. So this story worked for me.
Okay.
It's got
That is fair. That is fair. Can you tell us about Hawaiian Rodeo Cowboys, but maybe do it circuitously? Like not start with them?
I think I can, Cecil.
Okay, good.
Look, I promise I am going to tell you a rodeo story. All right. And it is a great underdog story for sure. But as much as this is a story about the Cowboys, this is a story about the cows. Okay. So think in your mind about a cow.
Always.
Yeah. All right. So it's probably standing in a field, placidly chewing cud and looking vacantly into the middle distance.
Exactly. Also, what I thought of it doing too, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, mine was like doing the Bugs Bunny, like Oasis desert thing, turning into a meal under the silver. Yeah.
Okay. Well, other people think of cows. And you guys, that's just exercise excluded. So this is how we normally think of cows, right? But this is not cows. This is very much not Hawaiian cows, which are a real honest to God thing. And they are absolutely fucking terrifying.
Oh, they try to sell you puka shell necklaces, don't they? Like real pushy like?
They don't take no for an answer.
They're trying to move those necklaces pretty hard.
There's the first one.
All right, so before there were people in Hawaii, the Hawaiian Islands had basically all of two native mammal species. They had a seal and a bat. The Hawaiian Islands are 2,400 miles away from anything. So the isolation of the volcanic island chain kept the islands remarkably free from foreign animal life for a very, very long time. The Polynesians introduced mammal species to the islands of Hawaii around 300 CE with the introduction of a species of rat, because humans just fucking ruin everything.
Well, also Polynesians, they're mammals too.
Wow.
And
That's fired.
all the rest of the mammals that you can find on the islands of Hawaii are both new and to a large extent invasive.
Yeah, as a white person who lived in Hawaii, can confirm. We're the worst. They have a slur for us. It's pretty sweet. Nice.
What is it? What is it?
Howley.
What is it?
It means without breath. They think of us as like unbreathing, like undead white zombies or something.
Wow.
It's the best. Fair. Tough, but fair.
Never felt more badass. All right.
In the late 1700s, British Navy Captain George Vancouver brought some cattle as a gift for King Kamehameha.
Son of King Spirit Bomb.
What?
Dragon Ball Z someone liked it. Someone liked my Dragon Ball Z. So
Seems
thank you.
Unlikely. So here were 4 males and 8 females of this entirely new species. Okay, so
mean.
think about this for a second. This was the big island, the island of Hawaii. And as I mentioned, there were basically no mammals that existed there natively. But now, all of a sudden, there's these huge fucking cattle just, boom, transported thousands of miles across the ocean, plunked down into this pristine habitat. And the king, he thought these things were great. So he put a law in place immediately that forbade anybody from killing these cattle for 10 years because the king wanted them to breed, which they did.
Fuck yeah, man. He'd seen Johnny Lingo. It's a Mormon educational video reference. Nobody liked it. I'm not going to pretend like
I
anybody
liked
gave a
it,
shit.
Noah.
though, so.
I liked it.
I think I'm supposed to get that for my job, and I didn't.
Yep, you are.
All right, but these cows, they didn't stay put. The biggest animals the Hawaiians had ever dealt with at this point were domesticated pigs. But these cattle were much, much bigger and vastly more powerful. So very quickly, they just busted right through their enclosures and made their way up into the mountains of the Big Island. They were still protected by the king's prohibition on killing the cattle, so the now feral cattle bred and roamed at will throughout the mountains of Hawaii. And it wasn't until 1830 that the king finally lifted the ban on killing cows. But by then, these things had roamed and fucked their way into a position of startling and terrifying ecological dominance. By 1846, there were 25,000 feral cattle in Hawaii.
Wow. Trying to lure it into a big cow trap so you can haul it up to the vet to get neutered.
2,000-pound cow spread eagled, refusing to get in the carrier.
Come on. He does this.
Okay, so there's some beef on the lamb wandering around in the mountains. Like, not great news for the native landscaping, I'm sure, but how bad could it be, right? The answer is shockingly bad. Feral Hawaiian cattle are not placid milk cows with names like Daisy that wear bells and smile with a sprig of grass hanging comically from their mouths. Feral Hawaiian cattle are 2,000 pounds of raw, unspoiled muscle and anger, just dominating the forests and mountains of Hawaii as terrifying bovine overlord.
All right, I get why Tom wrote this one. Okay.
A bull's horns can stretch 6 feet from tip to tip.
Jesus.
These are wild and uncontrolled. They destroy people's homes. They ravaged through farmland. They killed and injured farmers and horses. the guy who the Douglas fir is named after, botanist David Douglas, that motherfucker was killed by a wild Hawaiian bull. This breed of cattle was the same breed that in later years would sometimes be pitted against grizzly bears for sport in the frontiers of California.
The golden days of entertainment before The Bachelor.
Yeah. Back when there was some standard of decency.
So it really cannot be overemphasized how dangerous these things had become.
They were going to destroy the whole universe.
Yeah, never tell
Okay,
me.
it can be overemphasized, but not without absurdity.
I feel like you would be able to get killed by a cow. You can't just like juke it or whatever. I feel like I could juke it.
You got to get in its guard.
Or yeah, you get inside its guard. There's all different. There's no way a cow's
Control
beating
the
me up.
hips. So imagine an animal more akin to the Cape buffalo than the whimsical dairy cow. Feral cattle had remarkably keen eyesight and hearing, and their legs had evolved to be longer than their ancestors had, so they were better suited to moving through the undergrowth. These cows are still all over Hawaii. Like right now, they're a huge fucking problem. On public and private land, there is no prohibition, season, or restriction for wild cattle. You can just go cow hunting. Right now, you can go cow hunting in Hawaii. And when I read that, I first thought, holy shit, that sounds awesome. But it is wildly, crazily dangerous.
I don't think so.
These things kill horses on the regular. They flip over cars, Jeeps, and four-wheelers.
Smarter
They
than all those
charge.
things.
Yeah. Heath can sidestep way faster than
Exactly.
a Jeep.
Juke,
Yeah, way
juke
faster
real
than a
fast.
Jeep. Yeah,
Only
absolutely.
El Gato.
Yeah, for sure.
When I was a goalie.
Just wear red.
Soccer.
You're good.
Super fast.
These things charge at the slightest provocation, and they live in the fucking mountains and forests of an untamed volcanic paradise.
Sounds like politely asking a Walmart shopper to wear a mask. You get the same reaction, you know?
Terrifying.
Just a 2,000-pound death cow charging you in a jazz scooter.
Sir? Just
Scott, his arms are too short. He can't steer. Steer is a type of cow.
I'm so happy. So a word on trying to hunt these things. The local DNR in Hawaii, in efforts to call these things, has taken to shooting them from the air, which is about the only way I can imagine this being a safe thing to do. They shoot it from helicopters, Cecil. They fly around in helicopters, shooting fucking
All
wild
right, I got
cows.
missile lock on this cow.
In order to take the carcass, they need one of those two fucking like propeller helicopters to lift the damn thing up.
Cow hits the brakes. They fly right over. Fuck. Okay.
That cow can juke.
They call him El Gato.
can we tell the Israeli military the cows are near the I don't know. It's stupid.
Oh,
Stupid.
So hunting guides specializing in feral cattle hunts, they require hunters to bring a rifle with a minimum 300 caliber Winchester Magnum cartridge. That is
Wow.
an enormously powerful weapon. And they still say that one shot is never enough to down a full-grown bull. Most of which, upon being wounded, will just charge their attacker, barreling at remarkable speed through the underbrush with 6-foot horns and vengeance in their hearts at their attackers. This is in Hawaii right now, all of which is to say that these things are absolutely, positively not to be treated lightly. These are not domesticated in any way. They are a uniquely feral and voluminous population of wild Hawaiian cattle that even today still causes significant destruction and occasional deaths.
No, I get it. In New York, we called those Santa Cons. But same.
Okay, so clearly the Hawaiians had a problem, right? The English basically brought angry beef mogwai as presents, and then the king fed them after midnight and then turned them loose into the mountain. So they needed to do something about these things, or their houses were just going to get smashed by angry cattle whenever these things felt like it. The massive problem of these sirloin hellions gave rise to bullocks hunters. The bullocks hunters pitted themselves against the population of these wild beasts using muskets, but also by camouflaging pits, sometimes repurposed from collapsed lava tunnels for the cattle to fall in so they could be shot at more safely. which still wasn't safe at all, by the way, because sometimes they fall into the pits with the cattle.
Oh, God.
These genius cows just climbing backwards up a rope like an Eagle Scout out of Come on, really?
So eventually they turned to Mexico and they asked Mexico for help. The idea was that they could help rescue their struggling economy and solve their wild death cow problem by getting into the ranching business. So Mexico sent over a dozen or so vaqueros, Mexican cowboys, who taught the Polynesian natives the business of cattle wrangling. Long before there were actual cowboys defining the American West, Polynesian cowboys trained by Mexican vaqueros were roping and wrangling vastly more dangerous cattle throughout the mountains of Hawaii.
They're just hanging out in the woods. A neck dart flies into the tree. Right? Come on, really?
So these Hawaiian cowboys called Paniolo, they were just like any other cowboys, really. Though perhaps I should note a couple of unique job challenges that perhaps the open plains Marlboro men didn't have to worry about.
Well, from what we've heard so far, is one of them cow grenades?
Well, close. First, I think it's important these cattle were feral and they lived in the mountains. I know I already told you that. And I know I said that they were in Hawaii, but maybe you didn't think of the lava. They had to deal with fucking lava because Hawaii is just full all the time with fucking lava. And also, the Paniolo had to deal with these enormous fucking Hawaiian thorns that are in their mountains. These are basically 2.5-inch long daggers. They made me cry a little bit when I looked up pictures.
They
of these
hurt
things.
so
They're
bad.
awful looking. and of course, there are those bullocks pits that I mentioned, just all over the place, which a horse and a rider could easily fall into. Those are still around. And sharks. Did I mention the sharks yet?
like
I can't. I gotta go
lava
back.
sharks?
Okay, not far off. The Paniolo would herd their massive demon spawn right into the fucking ocean and make them swim beyond the reef where the cargo ships waited them for transport, right? And of course, the local marine wildlife picked up on that, and they often waded in the water to fucking eat them. And the Paniolo, to make this part possible, they put wooden saddles on their horses, took off their boots, and braving shark-infested waters of the South Pacific barefoot on swimming horses, chasing cows into a boat. What? So yeah, it's pretty much the same job as the American West Cowboys. It's the same.
They're badass.
How are the horses helping if they're not on? They're just floating around.
They're just guiding them in. They're like little buoys. They're like horse buoys. And you just follow them right in.
Horse just starts surfing. Okay, man, you're not even.
Well, we've shifted from Mecha Cowzilla to Beef Shank NATO. So let's take a break and then come back and see what happens next. King Kamehameha.
Yeah, what up, beard guy? Beard guy. What was your actual name again?
My name is.
I'm gonna call you beard guy. I'm gonna call you beard guy. What up?
All right.
Who's that?
Your Highness, hear this thing.
Who's that? Remember that? Remember who's that?
I do remember that, Your Highness. I do remember it. Yes.
Who's that? Love those frogs.
Yeah. Your Highness,
In the commercial?
Can we?
Bud, why is it? All right, what's up?
It's about the gift you received from the English.
Oh yeah, the bow things. Where are those little guy? I want to pet him. I want to pet him.
They're called cows. They're called cows, Your Highness, and they all escaped. They escaped.
What?
Yeah.
No, I love those little guys.
Yeah, sir, that was 10 years ago, and you made a rule that we can't kill them.
Well, yeah, all right. Of course not. Of course not. I want to kill my little buddy. I want to pet him. I want to pet him. Bring me one so I can pet him.
Right. Okay, here's the thing. They're all over the island, and they've been wreaking havoc on pretty much everything. Everywhere they go, they're just...
Classic.
That's not classic. That is not classic. They've killed a bunch of people. Like a bunch.
Oh, okay. Bummer. All right. Well, let's put him in jail or whatever you got to do. I don't know. Can't murder people, right? Yeah, put him in jail.
You can't put them in jail, Your Highness. They're way too dangerous.
Okay. All right. New plan. So, get me some fucking Mexicans.
What?
And dude, hold on. Let me finish.
Okay.
Shh. Get some Mexicans, and then those Mexicans show us how we're supposed to be cowboys.
Cowboys. Mexicans are going to teach us how to be cowboys. Is that what's going to happen here?
Also, we need them to teach them to swim, so we can swim them like where we sell them.
Your Highness, instead, you could just
Teach the bows to swim and get some Mexican cowboys.
Yes, Your Highness. Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Highness. What's funny?
No, it's not. I was just picturing him in little water floaties, like on the floaties.
I do know the floaties.
You know
yes.
the water floaties,
Yeah.
like on the arms.
Mhm, yeah, I do.
Can we do that?
We can try. Yes.
Classic water floaties.
Well, when we last left off, part of America was filled with smelly, overweight, irrationally angry, non-compliant animals, but then Sturgis ended. So we're back talking about Hawaiian cows. What happened next, Tom?
All right, so I promised you a rodeo story, and here it is. Let's flash forward now to 1907. All right, so the world's biggest rodeo is held every year in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And if you're a big swinging American West stick, this is a really big deal. This was Cheyenne's Frontier Days, a project that first began as a money-making venture put together by Buffalo Bill, Annie Oakley, and Theodore Roosevelt. And then some other names nobody will recognize. But Frontier Days blew up, and it soon became a showcase for American West culture. And the rodeo was the epicenter of the whole thing.
Yeah, well, back before America was self-conscious enough to be embarrassed by itself. Yeah.
Wish we were that self-conscious.
Bull moose party.
So this was basically the Olympics for the Wild West set. It was widely believed that the winners of the Frontier Days rodeo represented the best and the baddest cowboys in all of the world. And year after year, locals from Cheyenne won this competition.
I wonder if it was like the early days of UFC where a guy comes out to wrangle cattle with one boxing glove on. One random. And then a ninja wins it all. Yeah.
So bad.
I know,
So
right?
easily.
Beat the shit out of that guy. No, you should wear a boxing glove. No, it'll be funny. No, you wear it. It'll be great. All the better to arm
try
bar
to
you.
grapple
Yeah.
with one boxing glove on.
So Eben Lowe, a Hawaiian cowboy living on the mainland in the U.S., traveled to Cheyenne to see this rodeo. And while he was watching the premier event, that's the steer roping competition, Eben thought to himself, man, my cousins would straight kick their asses. There's very little lava here and like no sharks at all. Yeah, this is just... So he set about arranging for his three cousins to make the 4,000-mile journey from Hawaii to Cheyenne, Wyoming for the Frontier Days rodeo. And quick side note, Eben Lowe only had one hand because he lost the other hand in a roping accident.
What? Did he like forget you can let go? One of these ingenious guys like bounced the lasso back onto his other hand. Too hard.
They didn't say how, but that would be amazing.
See, this is why you don't attack an Eagle Scout with a rope. That's just...
Still very impressive guy, though. He was a working paniolo with one fucking hand. Like he still worked with it.
We all work our paniolos with one hand, Tom.
You'd get the stump in there if you had a stump, right? Stump gets all hairy.
So at the behest of Eben Lowe, Ikua Purdy and two of his Paniolo cohorts from the Big Island made the journey to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Now, these guys, they viewed the whole thing as something of a lark, right? This is just a bit of an adventure. In Hawaii, the games that rodeo was based on, they were not held as serious competitions. This was like how they would while away an afternoon. So these guys weren't professional rodeo men. These were working cowboys used to dealing with mountain-dwelling, lava-dodging wild hell beasts, right? So, and they also showed up to this event like without their own horses. So they were just going to need to borrow whatever shitty horses the maitre d' had lying around in the horse closet out back.
Just a bright yellow plaid horse with Frontier Days embroidered in orange on its side. Gotta use that one.
All right, we've also got a horse head on a stick. That one's for you. You will have to play like Quidditch. Take it seriously. All right. This third guy, you get Ann Coulter, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. Looks like a horse.
It's the best joke you've ever told me. That's the best one. That's amazing.
All right, so these three, they were not taken very seriously when they arrived. They looked different, and in America, that's not generally great news. They wore hats with much wider brims. They were created to block the sun of the tropics. They wore garlands of wildflowers, and their lassos were made with rawhide instead of rope. Rope would have just rotted away in the wet mountains of their Hawaiian homeland. The newspapers writing at the time wrote them off, simultaneously thrilled to have their event be so widely known that it attracted entrants from so far away, and yet utterly dismissive of their chances to succeed against the local Wyoming favorites.
Utterly.
Yeah, because the only thing more American than laughing at foreigners is getting the shit kicked out of us by them immediately after we do.
So it was that in 1908, 3 native Hawaiian cowboys found themselves in Cheyenne, Wyoming on borrowed horses as contestants in the greatest rodeo competition in the world. The 3 men, Aikua Purdy, Jack Lowe, and Archie Kaua'a, were not among friends. The locals snickered and regarded them as interlopers or just as curiosities. Tens of thousands of spectators waited in the stands for the events to begin.
Jesus. And to give you an idea what a big deal that is, Wyoming's population at the time was about 130,000, right? So tens of thousands is like 15% of the state.
This thing was massive. It was it's still going on, actually. It's a big deal. Yeah. So when they first began, the first man, Archie, he lassoed his steer so quickly and easily that the crowd audibly gasped. The papers wrote it off as a fluke. By the end of
your cows okay? It's like a really stupid one or something.
Got a lucky one. But by the end of the 3rd day of the competition, the newspapers, they had no idea what the hell to do or what to write. The Hawaiian Cowboys had swept the competition. Aikua Purdy took first place. Archie took second, despite competing with an injured arm. The 3rd Hawaiian suffered an asthma attack while competing, and he still took 6th place.
Jesus Christ.
The local Wyoming Cowboys were beaten at their own game by Hawaiians on vacation.
Akua's like, is there any way you guys could just like fill the stadium with wolves and light it on fire so it's kind of a challenge? I just want a challenge.
Organizers are like, nah, we'll get sued by the Steelers, so no.
So the 3 Hawaiians returned home to a hero's welcome, while those left behind in Wyoming seemed utterly befuddled. Hawaii had very recently been annexed, and many people still didn't fully realize that Hawaii was now part of the United States. So here was this quintessentially Americana tradition, where Americans were supposed to win, to prove again and again their dominance and their exceptionalism. But this moment in history is one of those many times when that story of what is really and truly American falls apart. The first cowboys weren't American. They were Mexican vaqueros, the very same who trained the Paniolo who've just swept the Frontier Days event. Rodeo wasn't uniquely or originally American at all. Neither were cowboys, and the best cowboys in the world weren't the square-jawed Wild West American cowboys, but flower-wearing Pacific Islanders. And they were Americans, yes, but they were not accepted by America. It wasn't, in fact, until 1999 that Aikua Purdy, the man who traveled 4,000 miles to dominate the Wyoming locals, was finally inducted into the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Hall of Fame.
And Tom, if you had to summarize what you learned in one sentence, what would it be?
That releasing Hawaiians into the wild in Wyoming upsets the xenophobe ecosystem.
And are you ready for the quiz?
Well, I'm as ready as a cow in shark-infested waters, Cecil. I'm really unprepared is what I mean. I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah.
All right, Tom, which of the following is the best Hawaiian cowboy nickname? A, Doc Alo Holiday. B, Eddie I Cowboy. C, Hawaiian Earp. Or D, Poi Rogers.
Poi Rogers. All right, B and C were not your best efforts, Heath. You should be a little embarrassed of that.
No, Hawaiian Earp is pretty fucking good.
Poi, I'm going Poi Rogers on this one.
Poi Rogers is correct.
Yes.
All right, Tom. The Hawaiians may be better cowboys than us mainlanders, but they'll never touch us in A, childhood obesity. B, not living where there's lava. C, not letting the first time a new animal lands on our island destroy our whole ecosystem and spawn untold numbers of super killing machines where we live. Or D, regular obesity.
Well, it's the only one that's true is not living where there's lava.
Correct. Yeah, that is correct.
Yes,
That's
nailed it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All right.
Hawaii's got some large people. They got fat kids. Yeah, they got fat kids. It's the whole thing.
All right, so I got a good one for you here, Tom. This story is yet more evidence that everything turns evil if you give it a volcano layer. So, when the smoke clears from the inevitable war between humans and the evil Hawaiian cows, what will the cows have done? A, tore us a new one.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you. Marched us to the gallows to Angus. C. Thank you. Fought. C. Fought pasture defenses.
That's a good pasture.
Or D. Utterly destroyed us.
What is happening? How is Noah punning at this high a level out of nowhere?
Really good.
This is. I feel I have God, they're all so good. But I'm gonna have to go with Taurus and new one. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was D. Utterly destroyed us.
Oh, well, Noah, that
Close.
means you win this week.
All right. Well, since you said that so sweet and everything, I think you should be the SAS next time.
Oh, great. Awesome. All right. Well, for Tom, Eli, Noah, and Heath, I'm Cecil. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week. And by then, I will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can listen to our other shows, Turn Up the Air Conditioning, and The Outside is Scary. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. That's really important. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com. And remember, there is one thing a mainland cowboy can do faster. Ask the police if he's being detained. Your Highness, what's this I hear about you accepting a murder hornet from the Japanese ambassador?
What? No, it's like a guard dog.
Your Highness, it's not a guard.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna keep him in my room.
Okay, did you close the window?
Yes.
God damn it.
We need a net. Oh, nothing.